Hello and welcome. It's tip demo time. So, what are we going to be doing today? We are going to be working and wrapping up the last month of the second quarter project, A Peaceful Garden, and we will also be catching up a little bit on the Artesian Market Basket. But hi, I'm Jean. Let me first of all welcome those of you that are in the chat already this morning. Danielle, dear Danielle, is here, one of my moderators and a channel supporter. A New York Beauty Mike is here, who is also channel supporter and now a new moderator. Elaine is here from Three Patches in Time. She's a channel supporter as well. Sorry about that. Carol Rouchot, of course, is always here, and she is also an awesome channel supporter. And let me see, who else do we have? Katie Crafts is also here. Christine, who is also one of the channel supporters, coming out in force this morning. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Yeah, look out, Mike's got a wrench. But welcome, everyone. It is great to see you this afternoon. It's a little kind of dreary weather here in Ohio. I don't know about where you're from, but it has been raining all morning here. But we're getting used to the soggy weather this year, so I guess it can just keep it up. Better than having the storms that some of you have been having. And no, I don't think we'll have a problem with flooding. But let a few other people have time to catch up and join us before I get into doing the uh, demo on our peaceful garden that I have over here. And I also have the market basket behind me there. Susan, Shady Susan from Sewing Sensations by Shady Susan is here also this morning. It is great to have you this afternoon. She says she wishes we would have some rainy weather here. Well, I wish we could send some to you, Susan. I would gladly do that. It's bad enough we have to wipe the paws off the puppies when they come in right now. But I'm doing the rain dance for you, says Mike, a New York beauty. Always, always helping out. Mike's great at doing that. And Carrie Leonard is also here this afternoon. Welcome to you, Carrie. It's been a while since I've seen you. Hope you're doing well. I think Susan's a little, well, yeah, I forget. I was going to say, I think she's a little farther on the East Coast than us, but I may be wrong on that. And Samantha is here today. Welcome, welcome to you, Samantha, and Mama J. Andrea, another one of the channel supporters, is also here. I forgot to mention that Shady Susan is also a channel supporter. Thank you very much. So Terry is here running all over YouTube today. I need a drink. Well, take time out for one, Terry. That's quite all right. But thank you. Appreciate it. And Carrie Leonard has news. What's your news, Carrie? Share. Me too. Pass the wine glass, please. Well, I'll stick with my coffee for right now. Thank you. And it's pretty hot because I just made another cup. Which, of course, this is the equivalent to a cup and a half. So we might as well say I'm on my third cup. Yeah, cup. It's, is it wine o'clock? Well, you know, Terry, the sign in the stitching cottage has been turned to wine o'clock instead of coffee o'clock for quite a while. So I guess it's always wine o'clock here. But I'm having coffee. And Debbie is joining us. Hello. Hello to you. She is also one of the channel supporters. I'm moving to a house. Well, that is awesome, Carrie. I am so happy for you. Yay. Congratulations. You're going to love it. That is awesome. Yes. Is it close to where you are, or are you going to be in a totally different neighborhood? But yeah, no fun packing and all that. But hey, it's worth it to get out of an apartment and get into a house. That's going to be awesome. I'm so happy for you. And maybe you'll have more room for a sewing room. That would also be awesome. And Mama J says, I am not getting much pattern writing and testing done today, but that is okay because I love connecting with all my stitching buddies. Yes, I understand. I understand that totally, Andrea. And Gladys, the confident quilter, is also joining us this afternoon. I keep saying this morning, you know, I'm used to being on in the morning. She is also one of our channel supporters. And Debbie, of course, is also one of the channel supporters, if I forgot to mention that. But yes, welcome, welcome, everyone. So I know some of you here have been working. It's a group home. Okay, well, you'll always have friends close by then. That is nice. Better, still better than being in the apartment for sure. And hopefully you're still going to be able to have your dog with you. I know that's important to you. So, and Fern King is also here this morning. Welcome, welcome to you. Thanks for joining. But we have been working on, and let me just hold up. I will turn the other camera on soon, but we have been working on a peaceful garden, which is a combination of a little quilt in patchwork, applique, and embroidery. So 3 great needle arts in one. And it is the end of June, so we are supposed to be completing that project because it's time for the 3rd quarter project to start, and I'll be going into that one in a little bit. But so I have prepared some of the steps from where we have left off on working on it. I don't know where everyone in the Stitch Along is in their work. I'm a little bit behind, as always, but that's okay. I will catch up. Yes, he'll come too. That's great. Glad to hear it. Yeah, I don't think you'd move, Carrie, if you weren't able to take your dog with. I know you. So the next step we have been working on, of course, the applique and the embroidery of our center panel. And some of you have been working already on the embroidery of your blocks that go around as the inside border on the quilt. So to prepare those, and I am going to switch over to the other camera while I show all this. Let me check and make sure that I've caught up on the chat first. Sandra is here. Sandra Real, good afternoon to you. Great to see you. I really love the flower basket behind you. Thank you. That is all needle turn applique as well. In fact, it is a type of reverse applique working from the back of the quilt. That is a great works great for some applications of applique, and it is also all hand quilted. But thank you very much. Yeah, I can't think of the name of the pattern right now, but there's several blocks in that pattern. Thank you for noticing it hanging up there. Andrew says, I am even behind her. I got sidetracked for some reason. Oh, it's the pink squirrels out here running around constantly. Many, many pink squirrels. And Debbie says, oops, I'm behind now. I need to get back to it. Yeah, we're working on too many things at once. Oh, and Rob from Quilting in the Man Cave is here this afternoon. Good afternoon to you. Great to see you also. So let me switch camera views for a moment here. And we will remove this one. There we go. And now you will be able to see what I am talking about. As I am doing, I'm going to set this down out of our way for now. And we are going to be preparing all those little blocks, these right here, that are stitched, and then the little borders on them are added on, and then they are added around that center panel that I just showed you. And the way that we do that is, first of all, we are cutting the squares out oversized because we need that extra for when we are doing the embroidery work on them. And we are tracing the cutting line on those before we line that up to be able to trace the embroidery on that. And I'm going to turn on my light box, and now you can see that showing up under there. And as you know, I always tape everything down. I have shown my process of doing this before so that it doesn't move on the light box. Okay, so Terry says that I have the Staten Island Army behind me. Awesome. Hello, Giovanna. It is great to see you too. But so I have first taped this down, the sheet that has what I'm going to be tracing on the light box. And then where we have traced, that makes that a little dark there with the light on the light box, but where we have traced that the cutting line, trimming line on the block, we are going to line that up on here so that we know we are getting that stitchery transferred right in the middle of our block where it needs to be. And I have that all lined up. So on this one, all I have to do now, and I use, oh, wrong direction. And we'll wait and see if it adjusts on the light. It's going to be dark because of that down there. But I use the sew line, and I will show you that after I turn this off again. Chalk lead pencil. I know that sounds like an oxymoron, doesn't it? Chalk lead. But anyhow, so, and I hold my fingers on either side of where I am tracing, and that also helps to keep that fabric down and on there. So I'm just going over all these lines. I'm not doing it real heavy. And of course, what you want to use that sew line pencil for is when you traced that cutting line on there. What you really want to use to transfer your embroidery stitching is one of the micron pens, and I use an 03. So that is what I actually want to be using for this step. You can use either, but it will show up better using the micron pen than it will the pencil. Whatever is your preference, both will work. And staying on those lines just as closely as you can. These are very small, so you really have to be careful while doing this and adjusting your fingers so that you are holding that down so your fabric doesn't move. And this has a bunch of little dots. I'm not going to do those heavily, but just enough so that I know that they're there. So that portion is done. I can turn that light off now. We'll just unplug it. And I can remove that from the light box, put it in sequence with the others. I have them in order. Whoops, we got to do one more step before we do that. Let's not forget that. An important step. Okay, and we are going to scoot this out of the way. We don't need that now. And as you see, I've got my app under here only because it helps raise that up so you are able to see what I am doing better. Let me see. Tracy has popped in. Hello to you, Tracy. It is great to see you. Good afternoon. And she is also one of the channel supporters. Joe is here from Vintage Style by Joe. Hello and welcome to you. And Rob wants to know, when will we see more videos from you, Mike? Everyone wants to know that. And did I miss someone? I'm not sure who Charles is. Or is that Charles from Charlie's Angels that you're referring to? Oh, and Mike says that he is working on some goodies now. Hope you enjoy when they pop up or where I pop up. You're just going to be popping up all over the place, aren't you, Mike? But and I think I have caught up. And Tracy says that 46 years, the 24th for you. Wow, that is awesome, Tracy. Great, 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 great. And Samantha is saying, did you say where you purchased that light box from? Sorry if you already said. No, I have shown it several times before. After the live is over, I will go and drop a link in the description box for that. It is from Amazon. So I will drop the link so you know the exact one that I purchased. I love it. I also have one of the largest ones they make because there are some really large embroidery projects that I do, and that comes in handy when you are doing larger ones. But my darling Charles, I love that. I love that. I love that. But the next thing that we have to do with this before we do our stitching, and I need to make sure my iron gets hot again. And while I'm waiting for that to get hot, I will share with you that when you are drawing those lines on your squares, if you have a sandpaper board, which is what this is, mine is from Jen Kingwell, and I can leave a link for that as well, but you can just make your own with any sandpaper on a piece of cardstock or whatever. Just glue it to that, a piece of cardboard, and very easy to make your own sandpaper board. But that keeps the fabric from moving when you are trying to trace those lines on there. So I do use that when I do that. And what we are doing now is we are adding what is called SF101 Shape Flex interfacing. It is a fusible stabilizer to the back of our stitchery fabric. And that stabilizes the fabric. It makes it so your stitches from behind do not show through after you are done doing all that. And it also makes your embroidery stitches stand up better on your fabric. So we are going to now attach that to the center of the back. And I have those cut out. Make sure that you are putting the rough side down on your fabric. And excuse me while I hold it up to the light, just to make sure I have it centered there where I'm going to need it. I'm going to move those papers out of the way. And you will read your directions, but you do use steam for this, and it says to hold it 10 to 15 seconds. So that is what I'm going to do. And that should be good. And you want to do that to all of your stitcheries, and you can see that it is centered on the back there, right behind where the stitching part is. We don't need it on that excess part that's going to be trimmed off. And now I will add it back to where the rest of the blocks are. So there we have all of our blocks, all of them with that on the back. They are ready to be stitched, just like this one, which of course I have done the next step on that because the stitching is done. After you have done your stitching, you're going to be adding your little border strips to that block. And you will be taking and adding to the top and bottom first, and then to both sides. And you're going to do that to every one of these 16 blocks. And your directions, of course, which it's not a free pattern, so I can't share with you, will give you those cutting instructions. And the chat is moving, so let me make sure. No, the microns do not bleed on the fabric. They are made for fabric. No bleeding at all. And Vicky is here. Welcome, welcome, Vicky. It is great to see you as well. And she is also a channel supporter. Welcome. And there is Debbie from Quilt Fact. Hello, Sister Debbie. And let me see. Okay, just chatting and saying hello to everyone now. Okay, gotcha. All right. So after we have done adding all of these on, of course, doing all the stitching, adding all of our strips on, then you are going to take and you are going to, just like it shows on the pattern in any form that you want, they don't have to be in the order that it has on here, but you are going to sew those together, and then you're going to attach to the top and the bottom of your center panel, which you have trimmed after you have done all the stitching to the measurements that says in your cutting instructions. And then you're going to add both sides. And of course, after that step, let me grab my little fabric bundle under here, which of course I have everything organized, labeled in here, which these are the little border strip sets that you have. Mine are all pinned together, ready to go. But the final step then, before quilting, of course, is you have all of your outer border, these outer border strips that you have cut, and you are going to sew those end to end, and then you are going to trim them as the directions say. And again, you're going to add first to the top and the bottom, and then both sides. And when you are done with that, your little quilt top is all complete. All you need to do then, isn't that cute? Those are such cute, adorable little blocks. Love them. Stitching works up really quickly on them, but have a few more to go. There are 16 total in that to do and add to that. But the next step that you will, of course, do after that is to layer it and quilt it as desired. And then you will add the binding and a label, and you will be finished with that project, which lets me change the view here right now, as I am done with showing that portion of that. But yeah, if you want to be done by the end of June, you only have a few days left. But hey, we won't be starting immediately on July 1st with our next project, so you have time. And just like most of us, we always get a little behind in our projects, so no worries. There's always the Facebook group. If you have run into any problems and have any questions, you can post them in there, and I will catch that, and I will be able to answer those for you. And Danielle says, that's going to be so beautiful. Thank you. Giovanna is making dinner. Tracy says this has been a fun project to work on. Yes, it is. Great. I surely will get some microns. Okay, Giovanna. If you are going to be using it for tracing embroidery and that type of thing on, there are three different sizes in the micron pens. They come in a 5, which is thicker, a 3, which is kind of medium, and a 1, which is very, very thin. I do not myself like the number 1 because it's very easy to break the tip on those, and then they are no good. So I use a number 3, which is thinner than the number 5 for when I'm doing the embroidery tracing. Just so you know. Let me catch up. Michelle's Crafts and More says it's going to be so pretty. Thank you. I live behind, says Danielle. So do I. So do I. So many whips. So many whips. Oh my, love the quilt behind you. Thank you very much. Yeah, that somebody else just mentioned that. That is a complete needle turn applique also, and it is hand quilted. But that is one that I did several years ago now. But one of my favorites. Love the quilting on it. It really makes the applique on it pop, and the hand quilting really stands out on it, which is why I love doing a crosshatch hand quilting. You have the number 1 for paper crafts. Well, then you can use that. They are If it's a micron pen, it will work for that also. Just don't use too heavy a hand on the fabric. They like to catch on the fabric. I think they don't slide as easily as on paper. But anyway, so the next thing that I have that we need to go over, let me have a sip of coffee there. I needed that. Got to keep the whistle wet. Is the Market Basket, which is from this book that is very difficult to get a hold of now. You can still order it on Amazon through a third party or wait until it shows up again, but that is the only link that the designer gets for where it is available. Also, I don't know, you might want to put in a search, see if somebody has it on Etsy or something like that. I'm not sure. I haven't been able to find it anyplace else, but you do not need the pattern for this crochet along, because I have shared the link in previous videos where we've gone over it for the Market Basket, one of them sitting right there, and I have the one I'm working on in here. I'll grab in just a little bit, but she has a full YouTube video tutorial on where she has gone step by step on the making of this. So if you watch that tutorial, have pen and paper in hand and jot down the instructions as she goes through them, you will be able to use that. But there are some beautiful, beautiful, beautiful patterns in here. I plan on doing several of them that are in here. So I do have the book and always want to support another creator. So therefore have purchased the book. I got in while Amazon still had some of them available. And around to it is here. Shirley, welcome, welcome to you as well. And Giovanna says that her hands cramp too much to stitch by hand, but a bit at a time won't hurt. No, it won't, and it will help with those hands, Giovanna. I know it's hard because I have many, many hand issues myself. In fact, when I was crocheting on the Market Basket the other day, this whole hand was numb. Did I stop? No, I kept right on going. I'm so used to that by now that I keep right on stitching through it, hand quilting, embroidery, everything. But that's me, just me. It's the way that I'm trying to keep the use of my hands as long as I can. And I figured that by doing that real detailed hand dexterity, it will keep them working instead of them getting worse. That's the way that I look at it. Yes, it's painful, but thanks to some, no commercials on here, but thanks to a certain friend in the chat, I have something that I've been using on them that does help with some of the pain. And so, and gotta say, love you, love you, love you, Mike. I gotta tell you, you all know that I have had a sleeping disorder for years. I mean, we are talking, about 50 years that I have been sleep deprived and have taken everything that there is under the sun to try, seen specialists, everything to work on being able to sleep. Well, dear Mike, a New York beauty who is in the chat and one of the moderators and a dear friend, led me to try something that has totally been a game changer. And I am so happy to say that I am getting at least, I know this will sound like not much for some of you, but I am getting at least 4 hours of sleep an evening now, which is awesome because I have been lucky to get more than an hour, 2 hours average a night. So that has been quite the game changer. And Mike, love you for that. But yes, it is a very cool book, an awesome book. Awesome, which I want to show you one of the, I love this one also. Isn't that awesome? And of course, the one on the cover is not a shawl, that is a blanket. She's just got it draped over her. And yes, I do want to do that pattern. But yes, that is amazing, isn't it? Who would have known? Where have you been all these years, Mike? I'm just glad you showed up at this point in time. But okay, so sorry for veering off on that for a little bit. But we have been working, and I'm going to try and pull this over without losing. I must have sat the bag on top of the yarn. There we go. Thought I had it stretched and pulled far enough. But I'm going to pull this over and you can see that laying real nice up here in this view. But I did have a Zoom, which I had mentioned when I was talking about this, I believe it was last Friday. It was either last Wednesday or Friday, that we would be doing the majority of this in the Facebook group because it is a crochet along. Easier to do that than having several lives or several videos throughout the week. And being able to get together in person, those that are making this, is also a lot easier. So I did have a Zoom for those that are making this on Monday, I believe it was. And we did awesome. The majority of us that were there did get almost the entire bottom of the basket done by the time that we ended that Zoom and ready to start up the sides, which, funny story, one of the individuals that was able to get almost to the point of adding the sides actually had to take it all apart and start over during that time. And I wound up with the biggest, largest, messiest spider web knots in one of my balls of yarn that took forever and ever and ever, as those that were in the Zoom watching can attest to get all of the knots and tangles out of that yarn to be able to go on. Many, many people would have cut the yarn. I am not someone that cuts my yarn. I had the patience to just keep up with it until I finally got it all untangled and still managed to get to almost the point of adding the sides on here, which this is, I have one row left and then it'll be ready to start the sides on that. So I just wanted to say that those of you that are working on this, we are at the point that our bottom is done and we are ready to start working up the sides. So if you have any questions on that, or if there are some of you that are doing it that didn't get in on that first Zoom, just let me know. I will schedule another one and we will have another Zoom to get together to work on it again and get you all caught up. So not going to work on that today during this live because I'd have to count and it's a little hard to count and also talk and watch a chat without losing your count. So that's the reason for doing that in YouTube, in, yeah, not YouTube, in Zoom rather than live on YouTube. So that is that project, and it will take you no time to get that one completed. And watch out because they can become addictive also. And Tracy says that her book is scheduled to be delivered around July 5th. Well, that's not very long at all. But if you watch that video tutorial, you'll be able to start before you get your book because I know you have yarn. Mike says he might have cut the yarn. Yes, there are many, many people that would have cut that yarn. There was a couple times I was tempted, but no, I worked through it. And I had little tiny ones that I had to stretch out and pull my whole skein of yarn through and not get it caught in any of the other 6 strands of yarn while doing that. And so it was quite the tedious and long task to get done, but I persevered and I got it done. So, and Debbie says, wow, Mike, thanks for that recommendation for Jean. I've known her since 2016 and very rarely has she slept that many hours at once. And answered to many prayers for her. Yes, awesome. And Giovanna says, I can relate with you. I also don't cut the threads and yarn. Yeah, no, no, which I have to tell you, speaking of that, can also tell you another funny story. on the Valdani Pearl Cotton. Sometimes you can search and search and search and search and search and not find where that thread starts. And I was searching and searching and searching and searching one day. And no, I don't like to cut my thread either. I actually, because I order a lot from Rusty Crow, is where I get my threads and a lot of my wools, and also got the hatched and patched patterns that I love. But I actually emailed her and asked her if there was a trick or something I was missing on being able to find the beginning of the thread. And you want to know what her reply was? You have more patience than I do. Just cut it. I had to laugh. I did not cut it. I again persevered and kept at it until I found the beginning of that. But yeah, patience of steel. And Debbie says that she is on the sides of her basket now. Wow, that's why you're behind in Peaceful Garden. Oh, but the trick is do not pull. Let the yarn do its job and let it relax. Yes, I did a lot of that. Shaking and relaxing, shaking and relaxing. Yeah, it was one that we all know that terminology, yarn barf. And that's where you get that end that's supposed to be the end, and all of a sudden, all the middle part comes out with it. Yeah, there was a little bit of a tangled mess in that had to be ended up going through. And it was after I had started. And so, yeah, I couldn't just easily take it and work its way through. But it starts in the middle. You have to pull out. Well, yeah, that was already done, Giovanna. This was farther down, not at the beginning of it. It wasn't finding. I'm not talking about yarn now. I was talking about the thread that you do not pull from the middle. Yep, yarn you pull from the center, depending on your yarn. There are some yarns that are not center pull, but I have a yarn winder for those, and I do wind most of my yarn so they all end up not having any tangles in it at all. But that was too large a skein to rewind on my yarn winder, which I have the industrial biggest one that they have, and I couldn't do it on that. So that was the one that ended up with a tangled mess in the middle of it. But thank you, Giovanna. There are some that probably don't know that. So thank you for sharing that information. But so the next thing that I have for you is we will be starting our third quarter quilt along. We've done the stitch along, which was quilting and applique and embroidery. Um, and I forget what we did the first quarter. You like that? How have I forgotten? But I did. We were on the second quarter, which is the hatched and patched. And we are getting ready for the third quarter, which those of you that know me, every single year I do a Veterans Quilt Challenge. So our third quarter project is the Veterans Quilt Challenge. And that challenge is to challenge anyone that wants to join in to make the quilt and donate it to a veteran. And the pattern that we are using, last year it was a free pattern. This year the pattern, it's not free, but I believe it's only $12. And I'm going to open this up so that you can see it. I have mentioned it. I have shared it before. So some of you already have the pattern, have purchased it, but it comes pretty quickly. So if you don't have it, you will be able to get it in time. And it is God and Country. It is from Easy Peasy Quilts that I'm sure you see their ads pop up in Facebook. They are a wonderful company. They have wonderful patterns. Their prices are very reasonable, but it is this pattern that we will be using. There are several sizes on it. The one that I got the kit, which the kit I got was for the throw size, which is 74 by 74. So that will work for a veteran's quilt very well. But I did get their kit for it. So I have everything ready to go. The kit includes a jelly roll. It includes the extra strips that you are going to need, and it includes the background fabric. So you will have everything in there other than And I don't remember whether it included the binding or not. Usually they do not, but everything is in there, and that was a reasonable price also. And I will leave the link for this. I have already done that before, but I will leave it again in the description box after the video is over. So don't run to it. Give me a few seconds to be able to get off here, get situated, and get in there to put that information in there, but it will be in there shortly after the video is over. Yes, would love to do this, says Tracy. I call my yarn winder a salad spinner. Oh yeah, mine is one of the metal big industrial ones, so little bigger than I think I know which one you're referring to, but yeah. Oh, the cotton thread, yeah. Says Giovanna. And Mike says, oh, I love it. I'm in. Danielle says, me too. Yay, I got that one already, says Danielle. Okay, awesome. I know someone won that in a giveaway, so I know someone else has the pattern. I don't remember exactly who won that. And Tracy says, yes, would love to do that. And Mike says, watch, I have one already. LOL. Okay. So you've been watching previously and maybe saw the link and the information on that and already went and got it. But or you liked the pattern before and already have it. I'm not sure, Mike. But either way, it will be an easy one to get a hold of, unless, of course, you all run over there and they run out of stock. But I think they pretty well keep their stock in and would get it back pretty quickly if they did run out. But the easiest way is, because it is very reasonable, you're going to have to go out and buy the fabric and everything anyway. Their kit is a very reasonable price. I don't remember the cost of that off the top of my head. I've had it for a while, but we will be starting that possibly on I'm going to say, yeah, I'm going to say not Wednesday of next week, but the Wednesday after. Yeah, I'm not sure of the date, but we will be doing that on one of the tip demo videos on Wednesday afternoon. The same time slot is when we will be starting that. And Andrew says, I am making vet quilts while I test patterns as I write them. So I'm going to pass, but I will watch, no problem. Everything that I do as quilt along, stitch along, crochet along, they are all optional, no problem whatsoever. Nothing is mandatory on my channel, not at all. But just like to have things for those that like to do those type of things together with other people available as an option. And normally I try as best as I can to keep everything pattern-wise free, but sometimes that's just not possible. Thank you, Danielle, for checking that for me. She says that the next, not the upcoming one, but July 10th would be when we would start that. It would be the first demo on that. So gives me some time to get that going along with everything else that we have going, because this Wednesday, the first Wednesday, will be our block of the month. We are ready for July's block of the month also. And I have that pretty much ready to go. So that is what we will be doing the first Wednesday in July, which is what we always do on the first Wednesday of the month, is the block of the month for those that are doing that. And I think you're going to enjoy this month's block. I did have it back there, but I did move it so I wouldn't get it mixed up with my other notes that were up there. And there is Loretta. Yes, Loretta is the one that won the pattern. Waiting for it to start. Well, you are all ready then, Loretta. I couldn't remember who it was, which is Loretta is also one of the channel supporters. So awesome. She already has the pattern. Yay. And welcome. If I didn't see you pop in there earlier, I'm sorry if I missed you. And if I've missed anybody else, I apologize. I never intend to miss anyone. And there is Marie from Marie's Scrappy Creations. Hello, hello. Saw you a little earlier. It's great to see you. Marie is awesome. She has been sick, but is back and active on her channel again. So it was great to see her right before popping on here this afternoon. And Amy Dement is here also. Hello. She says, so glad I get a chance to say hi today. Yes, it's been a while, Amy, and I hope you are doing well with your recovery. I know what it's like. I've had both replaced. So yes, it takes a little bit, but hang in there. You, I hope, are doing quite well by now from your surgery, getting back to the sewing. And I do believe that I am once again caught up in there. So, does anyone have any questions on the Peaceful Garden? And I'll pull this one, which is the size that we are doing in the crochet along. We have a dog bone underneath my feet. But this is the size of the Artisan market basket. I have another basket inside of it that we are doing for the crochet along. It is a nice large size. So that is the size that we are doing in the crochet along. And then there is also the small one, which you are, of course, welcome to do as well. You just stop on that bottom section and make it smaller before you start adding to the sides on that. But they are beautiful. They are fun to make. If you have never worked with multiple strands of yarn at one time, you may find that a little bit difficult in the beginning to work with, but I know a couple that were working on that in the Zoom thought it was going to be harder than it was, and they found out that it wasn't. Of course, when the one changed to the correct size hook, it made it a lot easier, which the hook size that you will need is an L, an 8 mm. So that you do want to make sure that you have and have the correct one with you when you begin. How's my little brother Whip doing? He is doing awesome. He is growing. Let me tell you, he's getting a little heavy to pick up, but he is, yeah, Whip's not back there. My hubby came in and picked him up before the live today and took him in the house with him. He thought he might not cooperate, which I said, it's not during the lives he's usually bad. It's on that Sunday one that I record that I guess he thinks because I'm standing up, it's lights, camera, action. And that's when he likes to make a presence. But your sinuses are open now. Okay. Yeah, it's been a bad day here for allergies. Boy, let me tell you. And Vicky says that she almost has enough yarn left for making all the hats, but I will still have to order more yarn. Yes, just make sure you're using 7 strands. You do not want to use all 4-ply yarn in those 7 strands or it will be way too thick. You want to have some DK number 3 weight in there. You want to have a fingering weight thrown in there. Different weights of yarn, different textures of yarn. You can use all one color family. You can use totally scrappy, whatever, but you do need to have 7 different yarns to work with. It can be from your scraps, it can be new yarn, whatever it is that you want to use, but you want to make sure that you don't have too many thick yarns or you will have a problem working with it. Marie says, hey, Terry, I think I know you from somewhere. Yes, I think you do. Terry is many, many places during the day. And June is here. Welcome to you, June. I didn't see you pop in there earlier. I see you up there now. Welcome, welcome. It is great to see you. So those of you that are popping in late, you might want to go and watch the replay because that is when everything that was done on the Peaceful Garden, which was the 2nd quarter stitch along, which is this awesome pattern that incorporates quilting, applique, and embroidery all in one cute little pattern that I believe finishes, I forget, 12.5 by 17.5. It is an awesome little pattern, but that is the one that we are finishing up this week. It was our second quarter project, and we are getting ready to start on our third quarter project now. But I went over the final finishing details of what we need to do on that in the beginning. So, but lots of good information there. And Marie says that she needs to cook supper, so I can't stay, but I wanted to drop in. Have fun, everyone. Bye-bye. And we will be getting in touch very soon, Marie. So take care, and we will make plans. And Loretta is asking, can you tell me what width of bottom your basket is? Just curious. No, I cannot, because it is not a free pattern. So I cannot give out dimensions on that. I'm sorry. That is part of the instructions. So you can make it whatever size you want your bottom to be. But there is a free video tutorial on the designer's YouTube channel, and that will be linked in the description box. Again, you can get all that information over there. I have shared that since I am using her pattern for our crochet along. That was in a previous live video. It's in the Facebook group. If you're a member of the Facebook group, that link is in there, and I will link it again after this video is over in the description box below as well. Yes, you are the one that won the Peaceful Garden pattern, because there was an individual that won that as well, and that was Andrea. Mama J Enterprises won that pattern. And Vicky says, Jean, I figured out that I would just up my crochet hook to use what I have to start the basket. That's fine. Just keep in mind it will not come out the same size. Yeah. Once you do that and are using more and using a larger hook, you will end up with a much larger basket. Just keep that in mind as you go along. But you can make adjustments if you've been used to crocheting as you go. But don't want you to get disappointed and find out, oh, why is my basket so huge? And Giovanna is leaving us. It's getting close to the time, I see. Goodbye, Giovanna. And those else who may be leaving. Okay, yes, thanks. You are welcome, Loretta. And Amy says, I always love your instructions and encouragement. I have to head to PT now, but I'm so glad I got to say hello, and I'll catch the replay. Thank you, Amy. And thank you for your awesome comment there. Appreciate it. Take care and have a great time at physical therapy. And Terry is just catching up and says, laughing at Marie saying, I am everywhere and nowhere all at the same time. I think we all feel like that occasionally. But yes, continue on your recovery. Yes, Amy, that is a whoops, as I just ran into my desk and shook everything. Excuse me, I apologize for that. But I just noticed both of those quilts behind me are applique, which the one that says welcome friends with the basket and the bird is actually one of the very rare machine applique ones that I have done. So yeah, it was done by machine. The one next to it was all done by hand. I just noticed that when I saw that up there behind me. Our town is flooded on the south side of town, says June Hansen. I was looking how close the one river close to me was doing, but it went south side of town. Oh, yes, you feel bad for them, but I'm glad that it missed you, June. Yes, awful flooding going on in Iowa, and also my hometown of Minnesota, which there is a dam that is ready to be reached and whatever there. So yeah, prayers to those that are in the flooding that is going on there. It's going to be a long time before some of that water recedes and goes down in such a mess that is going to be left behind in devastation. But so prayers go out to all those that are affected by the flooding. You love that. It is a bluebird. It's showing up a lot lighter by that light that's there behind me. I had to check to make sure, but it is a really deep bluebird that is sitting on top of those, and those are cone flowers that are in that basket there. But yes, it is a pretty quilt. And hope everyone has a blessed rest of the day. Heading over to Katie's Live next. Thank you, uh, Andrea, and have fun with the rest of your day. And so Terry says she just finished the 16th dress. I need a machine to clean. Oh, wait, I have one. I'm sure you do, Terry. And June says that she is glad I missed it. Sorry for those affected. Yes. And prayers to all that are in the floods. All right. So it is on that hour's time. Riddle me this. Who is nowhere and everywhere? Oh, it's nowhere. I don't know, Danielle. I, I I can't think right now to catch that one. There's too many things going on in the mind already muddled up in there to try and figure that riddle out. I don't know. So Terry, I thought there really was an answer to that besides so Terry. You got me on that one, Danielle. But okay, thank you everyone for joining me this afternoon. I hope that those of you that are working on both of these projects were able to get some more information on that, are having a great time doing those, and are getting close to finishing your hatched and patched peaceful garden. I do have another stitching project, embroidery one, in mind coming up, not in the near future, but another one that we'll see if there are those interested in doing that. That is going to be a fun one also. Just always keeping everything circulated so that everyone can join in on something and has something to be able to be doing that we are doing together. So that will be coming up as well. Stay tuned for that. And of course, don't forget Tuesday nights with an enchanting evening under the stars that will be starting the first Tuesday in July at 8 p.m. Tuesday evenings. Hope to see many of you there. That is going to be a very fun production of a series. We'll just put it that way, working on the enchantment stars. Okay. LOL, funny. Bye. Take care, Jean. Thanks for hosting this get together. Hope the cleaning out keeps on a roll for you. Yes, I hope so too. Can't wait to have all that organizing and the moving done. So, again, thank you all. Have a great day. I will see you again Friday morning or somewhere else in someone's chat on the YouTube community. Great to be there and share in on everyone else's content and enjoy that as well. And remember, as always, in the meantime, I can keep you in stitches. Bye-bye, everyone.